Hello everyone, this is ChakaWhat here, and today I'm going to be presenting to you my review of all 6 issues of The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, The Tempest. This is the final chapter in League, and it is written by Alan Moore, with art by Kevin O'Neill and Ben DiMaglio. That took me a lot of practice to say. Also, I'm finally wearing my 3D glasses for the comic that they're actually for. I'm sure I'll wear these in videos in the future because sometimes it's just fun. But I'm just happy to finally, same thing. Not only was this a dramatic conclusion to League, it was the final hurrah of their careers. And if I haven't made it clear yet, I'm a very big fan of Alan Moore, and so reading this was rather bittersweet. Like around issue 3, I'm like, well, dang it, I don't want it to end. I want it to keep going, so I have the comfort of knowing Alan Moore is still writing out there somewhere. Since I've never talked about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen on this channel before, I'm just going to go through our 3 main protagonists, and that's it, because there's way too many characters to cover. But then I'll get on with the review. So, Mina Murray. I have a very dear place in my heart for Mina, especially Alan Moore's interpretation of her, because, even from when she's first introduced, she's just, he laid out for her this glorious characterization of, someone who is becoming their own person again. She's an incredible individual, she's incredibly smart, she's very strong, she's got a very good sense of self-worth. But she's also got some demons and some skeletons in her closet, and so I just appreciate the depth of her character. I love her with her friends, having her with Emma and Orlando just worked really well. And I've always thought, art-wise, O'Neill's style worked really well for her character, like the way he draws her scars, the outfits he puts her in. And it's just, she often complements other characters really well when paired with them, like Alan Quartermain and Nemo and Edward Hyde. And so just having her with Orlando was really good because they play off each other so well. And yeah, she's just a really special character, and I'm sad to see her go. Orlando, the gender fluid icon. Orlando is just, he, she, they, that's what I go by, he, she, they. But they're just a really fun character. They're impulsive and sarcastic and charming, and it's just truly fun to see them since I myself am gender fluid and I feel like I share certain aspects of personality with Orlando. And, especially at this point, her friendship with Emma and Mina is really strong, so they're all really comfortable with each other. They all mind each other when they aren't completely dressed up, and and Orlando adds such fun, flavorful dialogue to everything. And at this point, Orlando is using she, her pronouns. They actually bring that up, at one point a character's like, Orlando, but that was a man, and they're like, so yeah, it's lovely to have them in the story, because they're just a lovely character, Emma Knight. So because of how I've kind of jumped around in reading League, Emma was the most, Emma was the most unknown character to me, but I really liked how she fit in with everything. I thought her story throughout was the most cohesive part of the plot. She had the most beginning, middle, end victory, I was able to follow Emma's story perfectly. And I like how the 3 main protagonists of this were 3 women pretty much, Orlando being gender fluid but being a woman at that moment. And they were just totally, completely comfortable with each other, and I just thought it was a very progressive kind of story. And yeah, I just thought Emma was overall really clever and a very good character. Okay, I'm going to be relying on my script a lot because it took me about 2 days to decipher the plot. 2 days! After reading the whole series, I still didn't know what was going on. I'm going to talk about that later because that ain't good. It's Alan Moore, but that doesn't mean it's good. So, I'm going to do my best first issue begins with Orlando and Mina taking Emma to the, it's like that little plasma pool thing, and making her young again. Following is 2 stories, well actually 3, but I'm focusing on the 2 that are very, very important. They're told simultaneously. One is of our 3 adventures, and it's told in color, and one is told in black and white, and it is of our villain, M. Mina, Emma, and Orlando take to the seas to search for Captain Nemo. And near the city of Kor, M becomes a new young man again. Suddenly, our 3 adventures sub is intercepted by Hugo Hercules. He brings them to shore and destroys their sub, and they are taken hostage and brought to Lincoln Island, where they find Captain Nemo. Nemo gives them new clothes and welcomes them to the island. He also takes them to commune with the spectral Van Dusen. Van Dusen informs them of allegedly coincidental suicides of older women from intelligence agencies, who were all colleagues of Emma. Emma then figures out that the villain of this story is James Bond, whom she calls Jimmy. Emma and Orlando take off to kill James Bond, while Mina stays with Nemo and he takes her to Toyland. This is where things actually start to get really confusing. A wizard is introduced as the villain and is trying to bring around total apocalypse. Mina and Nemo take a journey into the world of 3D, wearing 3D glasses that were also given to the reader in issue 3. Fantasy then begins to hardcore just break into the reality of London, with characters and creatures running amok in the streets. And in order to help bring order to the chaos, Captain Universe returns after 50 years. Because of all this, Nemo reveals that he plans to break the tradition of Nemo always being a name for underwater, and wants to take to the stars with his squid rocket ship. Along with Satin Astro, Emma and Orlando then regroup with Mina, and we continuously get news flashes of new characters popping up around the world, wreaking havoc. Our adventurers pile into Nemo's rocket ship and blast off into space to see Earth literally on fire. Are you keeping up? Because I'm not. And I wrote this dang script. James Bond goes directly to Emma to assassinate her, but she kills him with ease. And an end to the fighting is brought about through the marriage between Captain Universe and the Queen of Spaceways. The story concludes with Edward Hyde paying a visit to Mina, Emma, and Orlando, who is now going by Sally, on the island of Lincoln. Mina and Nemo have at this point gotten married. And the last panel is a beautifully starlit dance between Mina and Edward, with a heartfelt goodbye from Maureen O'Neill. Oh my god, I can't believe I was able to summarize that much. You know, as much as I did enjoy, thoroughly enjoy reading this comic, it was dang difficult to keep up with what was going on. And, oh my god. Overall, I felt like it was intended to be a love letter to, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, its fans. And at times, it was just supposed to be this wacky apocalypse story, but it flip-flopped so much, sometimes you couldn't tell which one it was supposed to be at that moment. You know? Parts I liked. I loved the art and the color. The colors were fabulous. It was just Technicolor everywhere, but it suited the mood. Some parts it was really rainbows and fire and lasers, and other parts it was very muted color. And I thought that was really, really good. And I really like Kevin O'Neill's art. I think he's very talented. I loved the dialogue between Mina, Emma, and Orlando, because I think these characters just work really well together. They have excellent chemistry with each other. It's obvious that they think of each other as more than friends. I actually really liked that James Bond was the villain. My dad is super into James Bond. But I have problems with the character. He's a misogynist womanizer. he's the male fantasy, you know? And I'm not saying that his movies aren't good, but I'm saying that they're dang problematic, especially the earlier ones. So him being the villain was just kind of it was a bit of a fantasy for me, you know? I liked the entire sequence on the beach when, what was his name? See, I even forgot. When Hugo Hercules dumps them all out of their sub, there's just like, it's like one of the most coherent parts of the entire comic. Just their dialogue, it's so funny. And it's just like the little witty under things like Hugo wanting to impress the women threw the sub into the ocean, which did not impress any of them. It was so funny and great, and it just, like, that was one of the parts I was reading where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna miss this so much. You know, I liked Jack Nemo wanting to be different than the other Nemos. Like, there's this wonderful sequence where it's actually photographs of people. That's the comic, and I really liked that drastic change of style. That was just awesome. And the people that they got for Nemo and Mina were perfect. But he's like, I have a piano. And she's like, oh, I thought I wanted to impress you, you know? And Mina's like, what, you didn't think Lincoln would impress me? He's like, nah, I can play just a little bit. And you know, him with the rocket ship, it was nice because I think the Nemo dynasty is a really neat part. And I think that this is actually probably one of my favorite Nemos there've been. He's really neat. I liked the small character Easter eggs. The two that stuck out were actually in the same panel, and it was Mr. A, Ditko's Mr. A, which if you follow me on Twitter, you know I really like Mr. A. And Spy vs. Spy. So it was just fun seeing like characters I recognized. And I felt like there was a lot of love put into it, especially with the last panel with Edward and Mina dancing, you know? It was a little emotional because, you know, it's the goodbye, and it was very sweet goodbye. And Alan Moore, being the amazing man he is, at the end put in such a dig at Comicsgate. It was beautiful. Like, he totally tore them to shreds. It was like his last, like, hey, fuck you, before I leave, I just want to say y'all suck. And I'm like, thank you, Alan Moore. Parts I disliked: the convoluted plot. I mean, the switching between styles was good up to a point, and then it just got ridiculous because it almost felt like each story was being told in a different style, and I didn't even know if they connected. It was so hard to keep up with everything that was going on. There was just like explosions and new characters and wait, what happened to them? What? Now they're here? What? It got so confusing and convoluted. I'm like, holy crap, what the heck is going on? Like I said, it took me 2 days to write that summary because I couldn't figure out what was going on. I mean, it was just off the rails bonkers. Huh. And also, Gollywog, not okay. I'm sorry. I know that it's a character, and I love Alan Moore, but Jesus, he needs to not include the Gollywog in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's inappropriate. It's insensitive. It's racist. Okay, it's a racist doll, and it should not be here amongst these characters. It really shouldn't. It bothered me each time it showed up. I hated how its dialogue was written. It was awful. I'm shaking a little bit because, yeah, it's highly inappropriate for that to be here and be treated like it's okay. It's not okay. You already have a wonderfully diverse cast of characters. You know, that's politically correct. That having the Gollywog there is not appropriate. It's not necessary. That's how I feel. Whew. So, would I recommend this? I would only recommend this to people who like Alan Moore and or really love the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Because I have so many complaints about the plot, but I couldn't even go into them because I don't even know where to start. But that being said, I liked it because it was Alan Moore in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I liked it because of that fact. I liked the characters, I liked the art, I liked the setting. So my enjoying it was from it being what it is. And if you don't like what it is, I don't think you would like the comic. You kind of have to jive with League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Alan Moore to appreciate Tempest. And if you do, then you'll love it, I think. Maybe. Hopefully. 75% sure. You know? But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed and understood my review, and remember to like and subscribe. Bye!
Do you believe in kissing, honey? You bet I do. Well, I believe in kissing, honey, when the moon is new.
So as many of you know, I am a citizen of the USA, and currently our country is suffering from a crisis at the border. Immigrants seeking asylum in the US are being detained. Families are being separated and kept in detention centers in horrible conditions. All of it is scary and horrible, and a bit hard to come to terms with. So until things start getting better, I'm placing this message at the end of all of my videos to try to use what little influence I have to bring awareness and help. There are a number of things you can do to help. One of the simplest things is to donate to Immigrant Families Together, who are fundraising money to pay the bonds of detained immigrants and also provide necessities to families such as hygiene products, food, and shelter. This organization is also looking for volunteers. You can also take direct action by calling your state's government's officials and try to make your voice heard, and also refuse to let your taxes go to fund these facilities. There are many groups online that are looking for help to make sure these people are treated like human beings and receiving the help they desperately need. Let's prove that there is still hope for humanity and help solve this crisis in the most humane way possible. Remember, showing kindness isn't political. It's just the right thing to do. Thank you.